Yep, I make 10,000 bucks a month. I make a little more than that, in fact, and I did this without needing to sell an online course on how to become rich. So if you've spent longer than not at all on the internet, no doubt you've seen ads or heard of some online douche selling their course on how to make money online. It's easy, just buy my course. And they often use the 10K a month figure to entice you. In this video today, I'm going to show you how I make 10,000 bucks a month, and believe it or not, but this isn't locked behind a paywall. And it's not an online course, it's a free YouTube video. You're welcome. I'm sharing free tips on how to make 10,000 bucks a month. Online grifters hate me. Watch how I destroyed their online course sales with one simple video. Now, before I delve into the depths of my income, I will say I do have some forms of online income. However, this is not where my 10,000 bucks a month comes from, but I'd figure I'd just mention it. My online sources of income currently relate to stocks and YouTube. I say currently, since I may have other forms in the future. Chances are they just branch off from this, or they could relate to consulting, utilizing my CPA license that I'll soon have. But for now, I have some online income coming in from the stocks and YouTube. But how much am I raking in from these? Well, it depends. Recently, a lot of my longer-term picks have had a dip, but I suppose this isn't an online income since I'm not plucking money out of it. It's more so online investing. But I could always just pluck out profits. And in fact, at the time of recording, I've very recently sold off a lot of my longer-term stocks, not because I don't believe in them anymore or anything like that. I'm just raising more cash so I can have a larger down payment for my real estate investment. I also have swing trading. Obviously, this is not consistent or guaranteed, but I'm still getting familiar with the markets. I've only recently started a new charting strategy. I have plenty of years of practice before establishing a consistent strategy. It takes years to get this up and running. I saw a Reddit post recently of some guy throwing in the towel. He was mad he didn't have this sorted in a few months. Tell me this, if it only took a few months of trading to become a consistently profitable trader, wouldn't everyone be a profitable trader? Why would anyone ever get a job or go through an apprenticeship or go through a uni degree or work their way up at their job? Just spend a few months trading and now you can perpetually make money online. It's because it takes a lot more time than just a few months. You don't finish your degree in a few months. You don't get ripped in a few months. It takes a lot more time than this. But anyway, point is, I do have this stock trading as an online income source, but it's not 10,000 bucks a month and I'm still in my early stages. As for YouTube, I recently got monetized, but I made like 50 cents a day, somewhere around there. And recently my channel was actually demonetized because YouTube was verifying my identity or some shit. It's like they want me to dox myself or something. In fact, my channel was demonetized right as my Diary of a Wagey Kid video was taking off. No clue why that video did so well. It was more so just talking about my reasons for my wagey job decisions. If I knew it would do so well, I would have put a lot more effort into editing it. But I barely earned anything from that video. So great timing, YouTube. Just hit the demonetization hammer right before I get a popular video going. But anyway, I do make an online income from YouTube, but it's barely anything. And the amount I've earned has nowhere near covered what I've poured into this channel, let alone what I've spent over the prior couple of years. I also don't have real estate income yet. My house/land is getting very close to getting started, but that'll be another income source once that's sorted. I guess it's not online, but it's somewhat passive. Yeah, there's some upkeep and maintenance, but most of the hard work is done in getting the house built in the first place, or acquiring the house in the first place. I did mention other income streams in a video I made a while ago. I can have more income streams once my CPA studies and house are done, since those obviously require a lot of my attention. And now that my YouTube channel is growing, there's more streams of income that are possible. But even then, having various income streams may not be the best strategy for making more money. I'll elaborate on that topic in a video after I'm back from my upcoming exam. So now let's talk about what actually gets me $10,000 a month. I have two jobs. One is my career. It's full-time. It's in accounting. My other job is at a supermarket on the weekends. It's a wagey job. I got the accounting job by enrolling in university, picking a useful degree, which I've talked about before, then getting some experience whilst at uni, which I have also talked about before, then structuring my resume in a way that draws attention from recruiters or the algorithms they use, which I also talked about before. Funnily enough, I almost said no to this job that I have now, which I mentioned in a butterfly effect video. A split-second decision has drastically changed the trajectory of my life for the better. Without this job, a lot of my current life progress is not possible. My career gets shot without the experience, since I don't have the experience required for many jobs in the labour market, and it also means I can't fulfill the experience requirement to become a CPA. I can study the program and pass the exams, but I can't actually get the CPA license. I can't fund real estate or constant stock trades without the decent income flowing in from this job. And I can't talk much on life without having a career, since that's a big part of life for many people. Thus, it hurts my brand integrity / brand growth. So much of my life hinges on this full-time gig that I almost said no to. Crazy how defeated your mentality can be after a few life setbacks, but I talked more on this in that butterfly effect video. As for the wagey gig, I got that by having 4 prior jobs at a young age. Supermarkets like people with experience, and they like young people, like a lot of YouTubers these days, hey. But they especially like it if you're both experienced and young. What the fuck is wrong with this script, honestly? But they like it when you've worked at another job before and you're cheap, just like me when I was 15. Usually you can have people with experience, but they're adults, so they're more expensive. Or you can have cheaper people, like people in their mid-teenage years, who aren't subject to adult wages. So it's very rare you have someone with some sort of work experience and cheap, which is what I was when I was 15. So when you start at that supermarket job, you stick around. You do a decent enough job to the point where you're the better worker than the other people. When others leave, since it's a supermarket, it has high staff turnover, open shifts become available. If you're one of the better workers, you take those shifts. If you do them consistently enough, they get offered to you as part of your contract. So, your contracted hours increase. My contracted hours went from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25, back down to 22 when I couldn't do some certain hours at some point, back down to 18 once I got this current job and couldn't work my Tuesday night 4-hour shift anymore, and my contract has stayed at 18 ever since. My contracted hours cannot change unless I myself choose to change them, which is what I spent most of the Diary of a Wagey Kid video talking about. So that's how I got these jobs. It's pretty fortunate in this economy to have this type of employment situation. And whilst I don't take this for granted, you have to think, I could have easily left the wagey gig once I got my full-time job. But I didn't. I kept this secure job, and now I'm rewarded for it. Stable employment in this economy. All I did over the 12 years I've worked here is not quit. Simple. For my accounting gig, I've had periods of my life where I almost got booted from uni, or I was the only one in my university group that couldn't find a job for months. Several months in 2019, I was looking for a job, whilst all my uni friends were working, making better money than me at my part-time wagey job. Or how about in 2020, when I lost my job again, and I was working 30 plus hours a week at wagey job, making $600 a week, hectic shifts during COVID, whilst the Aussie government was giving people $750 a week to do nothing, and other office workers got to work from home that whole time. Yeah, does that sound fair to you? Fuck no. Crazy to think that was 4 years ago. Crazy how much I've progressed since then. So what was the point of that tangent? The point is, I know the economy is rough at the moment, and a lot of people are desperately trying for work. What I'm saying is, that was once me. I know what it's like. The difference is you guys aren't alone. There's many others in your shoes. In my cases in 2019 and 2020, I certainly felt like I was alone. I didn't see anyone else getting shafted by the labour market. So keep that in mind when I talk about my current employment situation. If anything, my current situation of 2 stable, cruisy jobs that pay decent and allow me to progress in other areas of my life is an overcorrection of all the bullshit luck I've had in the prior several years. It's about time things were secure and things were going well for me. Now let's dissect the earnings of both of these jobs. At my accounting job, my base salary is now $80,000 a year, thanks to a recent pay raise/promotion. Why did I say base rate? Because here in Australia, part of our salary is withheld from us and put into our retirement fund. Those retirement funds are taxed at different rates, and there's situations in which it's more beneficial to put more pre-tax money into your retirement fund. But for the sake of this video, I earn more than $80,000 from this job. $80K is just the base rate. So we currently get another 11.5% of our base rate put into our retirement funds here. It'll be 12% by next financial year. So 80,000 times 1.115 equals $89,200. So almost $90,000. However, my work has an agreement in which they pay for my CPA costs, whether that be one attempt at an exam or my membership fees. When I'm a CPA, my membership fees will be $837 a year, which work will pay for. So that forms a part of my package. If the costs go up, which they will, work will also pay for this. There's also an added $170 rough figure, since for some legal reason I get paid more when I take annual leave. So when I take days off work, which I will get paid more for those days off. So $170 is a rough guess as to the extra amounts I receive from my days off. It's most certainly more than this, considering the number of days I take off, which really isn't that many, but considering that I get paid a little bit more on top of that, it's going to be well over $170. But I'm just using a conservative guess here. So adding these other bits and bobs I get from my office gig, that's a total of $90,207 per year. Keep in mind it's most likely more than this due to being paid extra for those days off. So that's nothing to scoff at in my region. $90K from a nice cruisy stable job. Side tangent time, but whenever you hear of people earning the really big bucks, often they live in a major city, since that's where the big bucks are. But obviously, the cost of living is also way up too. So, for example, I could move to Melbourne and find a job that pays me $120,000 to $130,000 with my current skill set and education. That's a decent chunk more than what I get right now. But then what? I'd be paying a boatload in rent. So the extra money I get from those jobs, and then some, is being drained due to paying rent. So, moving to Melbourne for a higher paying job in this case does not make sense. Let's say you found somewhere to rent for $550 a week, which is dirt cheap for Melbourne. You'd barely get anything with this. But let's just say you don't mind the cozy rental and you want to work in Melbourne. $550 times 52 weeks equals $28,600 a year. Let's say I found a job that paid $130,000 currently, which is on the higher end. $130,000 take away $28,600 equals $101,400. I've moved to Melbourne for $130,000 a year, but it's costing me $28,600 to get there because I have to pay rent to work around the area. So I end up with $101,400. Meanwhile, my current salary is $90,000. I'll round down to be conservative. $101,400 take away $90,000 equals $11,400. I'm moving to a major city only to be $11,400 better off. And that doesn't count for extra costs like public transport. The petrol from my house with my parents to my office gig is costly, but it's not as bad as what some public transport costs can be. These figures are also assuming you can find something as cheap as $550 a week. And it's also assuming you'd find a role that pays $130,000. Maybe you only find $120,000, in which there's barely any difference in your overall pay. I saw an example in some Aussie news media thing the other week. Some lawyer in Sydney, she's no doubt on some really good coin, but her rental costs were insane, and she pretty much could not afford to get an apartment, unit, house, etc. of her own within a reasonable distance of her office. It was like some real estate tangent sort of thing, that's why they brought her on. But they have those like every week here in Australia. I recall her situation being an income of $160,000 and rent of $1,000 a week. It sounds absurd, but that's Sydney for you. So that's $52,000 in rental payments per year. $160,000 take away $52,000 equals $108,000. And of course, the $52,000 in rental payments is after income tax. So the financial situation is worse than this calculation. Meanwhile, my situation, no rent and $90,000. The high-end lawyer is barely $18,000 ahead when you look at it from this lens. And once again, it assumes the rent is this cheap, which it easily could not be. The purpose of that is to show you it's not always about the total income you hear someone makes. When you hear someone earning a whole lot, in many cases, a good chunk of their income goes towards living expenses for being in said area. Circling it back to me, some may think, wow, 90k isn't that much. Yeah, in some cases it's not, but if I moved to Melbourne for $120,000, my overall financial situation would be the same, most likely worse. But hey, I could tell everyone I make $120,000. I moved for a 30k pay rise, but now it's costing me 30k extra to live there. So keep that in mind whenever salaries are mentioned. It's all fine and dandy to earn a lot, but what is it costing you to earn that money? You'll see examples of this in the coming years, if you're willing to stick around that is, but my financial position will be better than many people living in Melbourne, even those earning double what I earn, and even if they do have a mortgage on their apartment, not just renting. But you'll see those calculations once my house is built. So, 90k from my office gig, but I don't just work there. I also work part-time at Wagey Job. The base rate has recently risen to $26.06 per hour, but I only work Saturdays and Sundays, which attract penalty rates. A 25% multiplier on a Saturday and a 50% multiplier on a Sunday. That puts my Saturday rate at $32.58 per hour, and my Sunday rate at $39.09 per hour. It's 09, not 09. We're talking numbers, not the alphabet. I also get a cold allowance of like 35 cents per hour worked on top of these rates, so the 35 cents doesn't attract any penalties. I work 8.5 paid hours per shift, so that means I earn about $615.28 per week. Times 52 weeks in a year, that's almost $32,000 a year. And I'll do a Sunday shift every now and then, and that has me starting earlier. So 2 of my hours are at a higher penalty time. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. hours incur a 100% multiplier. So that's $52.12 per hour for the early morning part of some Sunday shifts. So those weeks I'll earn more, but for simplicity's sake, I just make $32k base per year from the Wagey Job. Add on superannuation, that's about $35,670-ish, and when you include a few $100s of staff discounts on some groceries / some gift cards from time to time, as well as doing any public holiday shifts like Easter or Boxing Day, that's a bit over $36,000 per year from my weekend Wagey Job. Not bad at all. So when you tally up these calculations, I make around $126,400 per year from my jobs. Not bad for a rat race participant and a wagey, hey. I'm a rat race participant since I work a 9 to 5, and I'm a wagey since I work a low-skilled job. So there's 12 months per year. Let's math. 126,000 divided by 12 equals $10,500. That's $10,500 a month from working my jobs. I literally make more than $10,000 a month, something online grifters love to sell you online, and here I am. Never had to buy an online course from me on how to make 10k a month. Never had to grift and sell anything online to make this. And I've shared it for free. A blueprint on how to actually make $10,000 a month. Work for it. If you truly want to make $10,000 a month, get out there and get a fucking job.
Would you stop being such a goddamn weirdo? Go out there and get a fucking job.
Online grifters hate me. Watch how I ruined their online sales with one video. You want to make 10K a month? Here's how. Work in a country with a weaker currency. It's pretty easy to make 100,000 a year. 100,000 yen, 100,000 pesos, 100,000 real. So you could always just do that. I make 1 million a year, 1 million Zimbabwe currency. Countries with stronger currencies like the United States and United Kingdom, you'd have a hard time replicating this. Convert my income into British pounds and I'm not even close to 10K a month. I also don't get 10K a month in USD either. If I was in the US, my wagey job wouldn't pay as much. Depends on the state, I guess. But my accounting gig would pay more. Point is, 10K a month is what I earn, but the weaker Aussie dollar helps play into this figure. Since the cost of most things are just generally overall a bit higher here, namely real estate and energy costs, and as a result, a lot of the wages are also higher. You can also get $10,000 a month by working in a career, since that allows for pay increases that other standard jobs don't allow, and you have skills in a career that provide a barrier to entry that blocks others from taking your job. Example, a tradie has a whole apprenticeship completed, something that many others don't. I have an accounting degree, something that many others don't. Those barriers to my job means there's less available employees for that career in the labour market, thus my salary has more capabilities to move upwards. My wagey job, on the other hand, I have no such leverage. Plenty of high school students, parents who want to work some odd hours to fit around school, people in between other jobs, migrants into the country who just want to work. Plenty of those people who would take my wagey job if they could. These people could not take my accounting job though. They don't have the education/skills for that. So, work a career job, and whilst you're gaining XP in your career, you can work another job in the meantime to pump up your money, which is what I'm doing. Other forms of online income such as stock trading or YouTube take a long time to set up. They're volatile, and they're also not guaranteed. For stocks, you need to put in your own money to get a return, and your return is based on a percentage of the money you put in. If I make 10% off a $100 trade, that's only $10. If I make 10% off a $10,000 trade, that's $1,000 in profit. However, if the trade fails, I lose $100 in the first instance, and I lose $10,000 in the other instance. I suppose it's similar with YouTube. You need to have some products/items before you can create some online content, such as a phone and internet access. But in those cases, you probably already have those and you're already paying for them anyway. In my case, I have thumbnails and an editing software that I pay for. I've seen a lot of other smaller channels gaining traction lately, and they're legit those talking to their phone in the car type of videos. And their thumbnails are just a screen grab of their face talking in said video. I guess in that case, you don't have upfront costs. But how much would you potentially make from these type of videos? The barrier to entry is so low, and generally these videos are one-hit wonders. I'm sure you've seen them. The titles often go something like, I'm 25 and never had a girlfriend, or I'm 27 and a virgin, or it's so hard to find a job these days, or it's so hard to get by. Yeah, sure, some people stick around for their channel, but if your whole channel is based on doomerism and talking about how bad the economy is and the dating market is, you're not the only one who can do that. Everyone can do that. So there's no longevity behind this idea. Even if there was, if your channel grew enough and you made a lot of money from it, you'd no longer be relatable to your audience since you'd have money from your channel, and thus the audience who followed you for your relatability to the shit economy can't relate anymore. So you'd lose that audience. For stock trading, you can also get some false signals or some unexpected news causes a trade to reverse the other way. Something that doesn't happen with a job. I go to work, I know I get paid. I make a trade based on the best information/analysis I have, and I have no guarantee I will walk away with a profit. For YouTube, you can also get demonetized like my channel has been for a whole fucking month, because apparently they can't just let me change my organization type myself. And apparently it took them that long to tell me. and they couldn't verify my identity, blah blah, heaps of bullshit. So there's more crap you don't have to worry about with a standard job. All that stuff is sorted on day one. If you change your name, tax info, etc., you let payroll know, they fix it up, done. None of this waiting 4 to 5 days for Google/YouTube to get back to me on some shit. Can you tell it's pissing me off? I have enough bullshit I've got to deal with at the moment. Mentioned it on Twitter, but basically there's a lot on my plate at the moment. Namely my home loan. There's obviously a lot of work that goes into that, and then juggling finances to sort out that home loan. So I don't need to be waiting on YouTube to try and verify shit for my YouTube channel. And I can't just let it go either, because knowing YouTube, they've probably got some dumbass policy where if you don't verify your info in time, they kick you out of the YouTube partner program and you got to reapply. Then I need to get my watch hours back up again, and it's just goes back to what I've always said on this channel: a career over a business or a brand. As for income from real estate, you need a loan from the bank to get this, since you need the loan to get real estate in the first place. Best way to get a loan from the bank is by having a stable career/job. So my point is, for most people, it's more simple, more streamlined, and more guaranteed you'd make better income from the traditional route of a career or a job, as opposed to the newer methods of making income. Don't be suckered into those 10K a month online bullshit courses. If they had the blueprint to this, why would they sell it? That info would saturate the market they're in and reduce their income from where they're getting it from, that whole 10K thing. I gave away info on how to get a career and a diet that contains everything you need for free in exchange for growing my channel. But with these methods, it's not some super secret method that costs me money if I share this. I have mentioned before, it's probably a bad idea to tell younger guys about a career, since instead of becoming a self-improvement YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, they instead get an actual career that could push them into accounting, and I could have to compete with them for roles in the future. But there's plenty of accounting jobs out there, and my skill set is great enough to the point where I'd probably beat out the younger people anyway. I just have to compete with people who are already currently in the industry. So me telling younger guys to get into a career doesn't sabotage me. As for the diet, there's plenty of gym rats out there. My diet just helps you become overall much healthier and gives you more energy. It's not like I had some super secret legal anabolic steroid I just gave away for free. Yes, teaching others about my diet helps them, but it doesn't sabotage everything I've worked hard for. In stark contrast, I've talked about a secret weapon recently. It's a buy/sell signal that shows when a good time to buy/sell or short a stock is. I showed some other charts in my recent Week in the Life video, but I blurred out the name of these indicators. Why? Because the hard work I spent on finding these and testing them ruins my edge over other stock traders. I did accidentally show the name of one of these charts in my short Discord update video. Totally forgot. I made that video when I was tired in case it wasn't obvious. You could see on the time screen on the on that little laptop at the bottom corner, it was like late on a Saturday night, so I didn't really look at it too much. But there's a freebie for you. You're welcome. There's also the fact that these indicators may not be as good as I thought, so I'd be showing some bad indicators to my audience. They need more testing first, but so far, so good. But the main reason I don't show them is because I busted my ass for years sussing stock stuff, finding new channels, making bad trades. All that sacrifice has led me to where I am now in my investing journey. A very good base of info, and these indicators I'm testing might be the final key required. I'm not about to give this final key away for free. That's like me busting my ass to find the buried treasure, then giving away that treasure for free. Find the buried treasure for yourself. I've given away the treasure map on this channel over and over. I made videos on which channels to suss. I even gave an update on the channels in my recent Week in the Life video. I have no issue with giving away the treasure map, as is the case with the career video, diet video, and which investment channels to watch. It's not like I've gone through the degree, the extra study, all the job interviews, and now I'm handing the well-paying job off to you. With the diet, it's not like I'm handing off my physique to you. I'm handing off the treasure map. with stocks and investing. I've shown you who I watch/listen to, I've handed off the treasure map, and now I've found the key, which are my indicators. I'm not going to hand that off for free. What else did you want? Do you want me to do your exams for you? The $130,000 plus I have on standby for real estate, do you want me to donate that to you? Do you want me to pay for a surgical operation that swaps our bodies too? Hell, do you want my YouTube channel while you're at it? I'll give you the login details. No, no, no. I'll provide a treasure map, but I won't provide the treasure. It's the same with these online grifters. Why would they give away their treasure? Why would they give away their key? If they truly had the key to making 10K a month online, it wouldn't be sold in an online course. That would dilute their source of that 10K income. If they aren't selling the key and they're just selling the treasure map, why would you pay for this? The treasure map is on the internet for free. And it's even in this video you're watching. The treasure map to making 10K a month, work a career job, work more, and it's easier in a weaker currency environment. Done. A good magician never reveals his secrets.
You know a good magician never reveals his secrets.
So that's how I make 10K a month, legitimately. If you really want to make 10K a month, get out there and get a fucking job.
Would you stop being such a goddamn weirdo? Go out there and get a fucking job.
Thanks for watching. That is all.